Welcome, sunny souls, to today's Reddit stories. Want me to get rid of food odor? No problem. Posted by individual Mark 2839. This happened between my parents when they first got married. It's by far the funniest thing that has ever happened, and we tell this story all the time. Some background: my parents have been married for 34 years. They met in my dad's hair salon when my uncle needed my mom to come with him to get his haircut. My dad saw my mom, and it was like love at first sight for him. My dad asked my mom out 3 times before she said yes. They dated for 4 years, got married, and had 2 daughters, my older sister and I. Within these 34 years of marriage, they did face hardships that brought them closer than ever. Apparently my dad is a retired pastor, retired box plant worker, and retired beautician, and my mom's a homemaker. The way our household is traditional, Christian, and loving. My dad is the head of the household and my mom is always behind him as his everything. However, my mom makes all of the decisions for the household so that it can run smoothly. It's not too extreme of what some of you may think. Some people would disagree with this, but that's how I've been seeing it my entire life, and it works. Everyone's household dynamic is different. I heard from my mom tell me that early on in their marriage that there have been some situations where my dad tries to show my mom that he's more dominant and her, knows more than her, etc. Due to him being much older than my mom, but it never works out in his favor. On with the story. When this happened, both of my parents at the time were working. My dad worked at a box plant and my mom worked at another type of factory about 30 minutes out of state. One evening my mom was making a 2-headed hot plate dinner for her and my dad. My mom loves to cook and she's an amazing cook. That woman cooks the best meals. Like a southern Sunday dinner type of meals. I'm already looking forward to her cooking for the holidays. One evening when my dad came home from work, my mom was in the kitchen cooking. My dad asks, "What's that smell?" My mom says, "Dinner." My mom thought my dad was going to say how good it smells and was going to be grateful. My dad ends up saying something along the lines of, "You get that food odor smell out of here." My mom was confused, but she didn't want to argue and says okay. Cue malicious compliance. She opens windows all over the house trying to get rid of the smell. The next couple of days my parents only ate leftovers from what she cooked. A couple of days pass, my mom gets off work and is sitting in the kitchen waiting for my dad to come home. She's not cooking because my dad didn't like the smell of the food she cooked. My dad gets home and asks what's for dinner and why I don't smell anything. My mom says you wanted that food odor in here so I didn't cook anything. My dad was shocked. My mom did exactly what he said. She pulled a petty level 1000 on him. He knew he screwed up. He apologized, and ever since then, he has never ever complained about food odor. He actually looks forward to the smell of my mom's cooking every time and wants the whole house to smell like her cooking. Now my dad doesn't even think about trying to test my mom or anything anymore. He knows he's going to lose. He's lucky he has 2 adult daughters that will help him on what he can say and not say to mom. We tell this story a lot and people love it because of how funny it is. Here is my opinion. This is such a sweet and hilarious story. I love how your mom maliciously complied with your dad's request and then turned the tables on him. It's great to see how your parents have been married for so long and have such a strong relationship, despite their differences. Your mom definitely won that round, but it's nice to see that your dad learned his lesson and now appreciates her cooking. It's also adorable how you and your sister help him with what he can say and not say to your mom. Overall, this is a heartwarming and entertaining story that shows the importance of communication and respect in a relationship. Have you ever had a similar experience with your parents or partner? How do you think your mom felt when your dad complained about the food odor? Live tomorrow minus 4,865 likes to add.
Their sense of humor has helped keep them loving and strong during rough patches. I can see that from this example. Glad you had such a loving and wonderful upbringing.
OP replied to that. Yeah. When I was 3 and my oldest sister was 9, our dad had leukemia, and that was a really hard time. I only remember bits and pieces of it. But he's been cancer-free for over 20 years and he's very healthy and strong. But that's really how our family bonds with each other, is by cracking jokes at each other. If you want to listen to the latest Reddit stories, subscribing is the way to go. Just click that button and you'll never miss a video. We only speak to an attorney, okay then. Posted by Caltho. I was in a very bad car accident in 2021. I ended up with a 5-day hospital stay and had to have months of physical therapy and follow-up care with a number of specialists. Most of the time, getting records, setting appointments, pre-authorization, or anything related to my care was simple and didn't involve much and almost always could be authorized by my name and birth date. I called a provider who had billed my insurance incorrectly so they wouldn't pay for it, and I was getting stuck with the bill. The call went something like this. Company, hello. Please be advised this call may be recorded for training and quality purposes. How may I help you today? Me, I recently got care from X person at X location, and there was some incorrect billing, so I am being billed for it and not the insurance company. Company, can I please have your name and birth date? I provide it. I am unable to speak with you about this matter. Me, what? Why not? Company, I am only authorized to talk to an attorney about this matter. Me, Q malicious compliance, what the heck? Okay then, I am representing myself for all legal manners. Now please discuss this matter with me. Company, asterisk silence for about 4 seconds, asterisk 1 moment, sir. I get put on hold for about 3 minutes, and when they come back we get straight to discussing my issue and get it quickly resolved. I don't think they had run into that before and had to figure out if that loophole counted. It does and always should. You have to have an attorney, my butt. Here is my AI opinion. I believe the company was trying to avoid responsibility for their mistake by claiming that they could only speak with an attorney. However, by using malicious compliance and representing myself legally, I was able to get around this obstacle and have my issue resolved quickly. This experience taught me the importance of being aware of loopholes and using them to my advantage when dealing with large corporations. It also highlights the need for companies to be more transparent and accountable for their actions, especially when it comes to billing and customer service. What is the purpose of having a legal representative for medical billing issues? How did the company's policy of requiring an attorney for certain matters affect the outcome of the call? Unique Engineering 23 commented,
You know it's a big fuck up when they want to skip directly to the lawyers.
OP replied to that. It ended up being for a bill that was charging me over $50, and insurance ended up paying somewhere around $500. Make back for more? Posted by 16Geek. Almost a year ago I shared about a malicious compliance. Check my profile for that story if you are interested. So I'm still in the same company right now since that post, as I could not find another to date. Anyhow, circa early 2023, I was pretty much putting in extra hours without being asked and definitely not being paid. I thought, why not just helping out the department, no losses. Boy was I wrong. I was juggling between 2 roles because the HOD decided not to hire a headcount for the second role, and as I did not have a lot of tasks on hand I helped out. I put in extra hours today. I learned late like midnight. The HOD took notice and said I was doing good. Keep it up, there's nothing we can't solve with such an attitude around. Oh well, praised by the HOD. I kept going at it thinking I would get some sort of plus points whenever crap happens, then I would get a slap on the wrist at best. Like a trade-off, you feel me? Fast forward a few months, there was a task review session and he deemed that I had not enough tasks on hand. Thinking that all the hours I've put in today I learned midnight to solve problems are considered insufficient tasks on hand. Malicious compliance. I started to punch out from workshop at 6. And not doing anything past that. If anything at all, will be done the next day at 9 unless it's urgent. Speaking of which, I used to come to work half an hour early, and now I am at work only at 9:15. HOD doesn't know this because he enters the office an hour later. Then fast forward again. Last month, as we had more data to crunch, I did not have the data I needed, which I requested of the data team and only gotten it on late Saturday noon. I started working on it as soon as I got back to office on the following Monday, and it took me about 3 to 4 hours to get the calculations right. That's when the stub asterisk dear whole HOD commented, why is this taking so long? It's an easy thing to do. Having heard this, I now strictly stop responding to calls or texts after 6, including urgent requests. Urgent? Not my problem, my shift ends at 6. Come again tomorrow or look for someone else. FYI, he doesn't even know how to generate a 4 data point graph, which he took an hour trying to figure it out. Had to help him out after my manager threw me under the bus, and it took me only 2 minutes. I doubt he could write complex Excel formulas. Wanna be a smartass, help yourself. Here is my AI opinion. It sounds like you have been taking on extra responsibilities at work without being properly compensated or recognized for your efforts. When the HOD criticized you for not having enough tasks on hand, it seems like they were trying to shift the blame for their own lack of planning and resources onto you. By maliciously complying with your work hours and only doing what is explicitly requested of you, you are taking a stand against this unfair treatment and setting boundaries for yourself. It's understandable that you would want to avoid working long hours without being fairly compensated, especially if it's not being recognized or valued by your employer. However, it's important to note that malicious compliance can be risky, as it may damage your relationships with your colleagues and superiors. It's possible that the HOD may view your behavior as insubordination or lack of commitment, which could negatively impact your career advancement or even lead to disciplinary action. If you want to continue working at this company, it may be worth considering other ways to address the situation that are less risky and more constructive. For example, you could try talking to the HOD about your workload and the lack of recognition for your efforts, or seek support from your manager or HR department. Additionally, you may want to consider looking for a new job that offers better compensation and recognition for your work. Ultimately, it's important to prioritize your own well-being and make decisions that align with your goals and values. What would you do if you were in the same situation as the OP? Do you think the OP is justified in their actions? Why or why not? Piengen commented.
It's basically a mantra around here, but still can't be said often enough. Do not work for free.
A comment from Conscious Counter 5426.
There is absolutely no task your employer requires of you that merits you doing it for free.
Thanks for tuning in today. Subscribe for more intriguing Reddit stories.